All right, here he is. He has finally arrived. It is CARNIFEX from Mastermind Creations. He barely fits in my shooting area here, or at least with the depth I can get back in the camera up. But here he is in both of his separate vehicle modes. Not a whole lot really to go into in the vehicle modes. You can see what they are, and they don't do a whole lot outside of that. You can flip this up and put a little dude in there if you want. The cockpit on the jet. If I can get my finger on it, it does pop open. And it flips back into place like that. The landing gear can fold up just like that on the jet. And the tank does have, what's really cool, does have real working treads on both sides, which is nice. Before we go all the way to robot mode, I'm probably not going to do the base mode. That's kind of a, if you want to do it fan mode, maybe I'll come back and revisit that. But this is based off IDW Overlord, who does not have a base mode. So I'll focus on his alternate modes. But so the tank, pretty cool. Before we get to the robot, like I said, there's an intermediate tank jet mode, which is actually pretty awesome. And to get to that, first off, you want to remove the gun here. And it's pegged in back here. Very securely. It pegs in very tightly back here. So go ahead and those also come apart, but so unpeg that. There's two pegs in the back here, and then there's two little tabs that tab in between his feet here on the front part of the gun. And there you can see the tabs here, how these two halves tab together like this. That's what the base tank looks like without the gun on it. But you separate those like that. Take the gun and go ahead and turn it into what's going to be the gun mode for a robot mode. So you pull this down, flip this down, the handle passes through here, you fold this down, make sure that snaps all the way in. That'll let you close this up, and then these two panels close up here and peg in and lock that whole thing together, and there's his giant gun. Now for robot mode, this will flip down to the bottom, but for jet mode, we want to leave it like this. So we'll go ahead and leave that just like that. We'll take this side right here and tab this into this upper slot right here. That's going to go like that, and we'll flip out these little black tabs. Those are just little support tabs. I don't even know if you need to use these, but they do flip out to help attach it to the jet. And we'll set those two halves off to the side. For the jet, you want to come over here, and you need to fold the wings up into their backpack position here. So you open up this top piece, flip this up, fold in these turbine pieces. You can see they fill in the turbine on the front and the back here in jet mode. They're on the inner piece on this side. They're on the outer piece on this side. I think there's a lot of construction that uses the same pieces for both halves. So you lift that up. The wings you detach from, you unclip from the shoulder panel here, and they snap in very securely. So you got to lift that up, and you kind of pull it out and rotate. You can detach the shoulder piece to make it a little easier if you want. It is possible to get this out without doing so, because snapping these shoulders in can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. But you can lift that out, bring this up, it rotates. So bring it up, rotate it around like this. This piece folds down and forward and straight right up in there, and this comes down on top of that. And then the shoulder pieces, there's a little latching tab right here. When you fold them up, there's a tab up here that tabs in to the white piece up here. You see that? You can see the tab slot right there. There's a little tab right here that tabs into that. And then there's also a tab on the underside here. See if I can get some light in there. You can kind of see the tab there. That little hinge flips up and latches into place. So if you bring that in, lock that onto the tab, and then the latching tab inside there, right there, you can see the tip of it tabs onto the tab there. And that holds this in place. But this folds up, and then this turbine folds down around it. And there's a little tab here that kind of locks into the top here, but it's kind of a loose connection. It's more for stability. It's not really intended to hold the weight of anything, but you lock that in like that. And the same on the other side. Unsnap the tab. There's little slots right here on the front of the wings that latch in to a gap here in the black part inside the turbine. So pull that out. Like I said, if you can get that out without untapping it, you can rotate this around, kind of around and up as you transform it, and not have to detach that shoulder piece. Fold that down, fold this around like this, lock everything back into place. Like that, and then on the shoulder piece, there's a couple little tabs that flip out right here. So we're going to use these two tabs and then these two tabs right here to attach the tank pieces on each side. And that little black piece we flipped out on the tank can kind of fit in this little groove right here. It's not as structurally stable, structurally required, I don't think, but it is there just in case. So now I take those tank halves, like I said, and these two black tabs on the side of the jet go into these two slots right here, and then these two tabs on the white part of the shoulder pad tabbing up here on the front of this teal piece. And it's just a matter of getting it all lined up and pushing it together, locking that on, and then same on this side. Let's get it all lined up, tab together, and then you have this cool combined, which it helps if you have the landing gear down in this mode just to support it. Then you got a cool combined tank and jet mode. Like on the old toy, supposedly you could attach the tank to the back and kind of do a thing, but I think this is a really cool looking combined tank jet mode, if that's what you want. And moving on, it's just a matter of, again, pop the tank part off. We'll go ahead and do the tank first again because the tank's pretty basic and easy. Pop the gun out. That, like I said, that's going to become his giant rifle, and just rotate that around to the bottom. And it does, you'll feel it clearly lock into place at both the top and the bottom, which is nice. The tank halves, you want to bring this teal, flip that black piece back in, untab the teal piece here, fold it around, and snap it into place under here. It should, there we go. Just like that. Open this piece up right here, and then flip the leg panel out. Close that up. Fold this back. It's going to be, this is the back side of the leg. Flip this back, split the foot in half here, and bring them, open them up like a foot. This front panel here at the above the ankle lifts up, and the foot's got some good front to back. It's got some side to side ankle tilt there. And when you're closing it back up, you do need to make sure it's straight, because if you have it slightly off, sometimes these panels they'll want to close up and they'll conflict with another piece. So you want to make sure that's flat when you fold it back up to go back to tank mode. There's one leg done, and it's the same thing on this side. Close this up. Open this up. Flip out the leg. Close that back up. Lift up the front and back panels. Open up the foot. And they do tab together quite securely. Set the foot flat, and there the legs are ready to go. Jet mode, you want to fold these tabs back in. Untab these just so you don't get anything caught on that, and then untab it from the top there, and kind of pull this whole assembly out. The cone unpegs from here, and then you want to lift that up, and then the cone, you actually, when you're going back to tank mode, you want to make sure, or jet mode, you want to make sure to lift those up first. I was having a huge problem getting these to fold back correctly, and it turns out the solution was just I had forgotten to extend the cones. So fold that down, bring these, maneuver these kind of just out to the side here. So we've got some room to work. Fold up the landing gear. And you see this is his chest. The landing gear end up on the back of his waist. So you want to go ahead and rotate this whole piece right here. close these back up. And then here's that latching tab that I was talking about that latches onto the, let's see if I can maybe brighten that just a little bit more and show that off. There's a little tab right here that folds down against the body and then flips up to latch that shoulder piece into place. So fold that down on both sides. You come up here, now you can detach the swords if you want. You don't have to. It does make it a little easier clearance-wise. But then you basically just pop the front part of the jet up and off. It tabs in right here on the front. It's connected through the arms to the bottom, which is this whole plate right here. Untab the tips of the swords from up here. Actually, let's go ahead and just pop the swords off. I think it's going to make that a whole lot easier. So pop that off, unsnap it from the front. Just like that. Unpeg the bottom half, fold the landing gear up, split the front nose cone of the jet, which will become his arms, and once that's open, you can take this nose cone piece and pull it out. This comes up, rotates around, should rotate, oh, there we go, rotates around like this, comes up, folds over the top, and clips in onto the back like that. Fold these purple pieces down flat. You turn the white balance down a little bit. And then you can reattach the swords. You just clip on like that to form the shield. And we'll deal with that in just a minute. So for the rest of the body, there's his head. Go ahead and fold that down. Push it back into place. The shoulder pads, you kind of want to lift up and rotate back so they don't get in the way of the arms. Bring the arms down to the side. At which point you can bring the shoulder pads back over, point the cones up. This piece folds in half onto the back of the arm. And it tabs on. There we go, it's like that. Open up the front piece, flip out his fist. Come on, fist. It's just a matter of getting a grip on it. There we go. Come on out, fist. No, that's one of his fingers got stuck up in there. Hold on one second. All right, I just had to turn the fist around, but yeah, get the fist out, close that up. He's got, you can see his thumbs on a ball joint here, as well as, you know, it's got a swivel. It's got a little bit of a hinge up here, and all of his fingers are articulated at each knuckle, all individually articulated. They're even all different lengths, which is nice. They actually look like real hands. Robot hands, but, you know, proportionally. So yeah, bring his hand out, rotate this around so his elbow comes forward. Same on this side. Close this up. Open up his panel. Flip out his fist. And then bring his hand around. Leave this thumb down for the gun. You don't have to right now, but that's how I'm going to do it. Bring his arm down. Rotate it around like this. And then you just bring the shoulder pads up over the shoulders. Adjust the cone there on the shoulder pad. There we go. And there is his upper body, which we now just attach. We take the legs, snap them onto the jets here on the back. And stand him up. And here he is in all of his giant glory. We'll get some good comparison shots here soon. I'm going to focus on his upper body here. He does have his classic weapons on the side. There's a little lever here that pops out these side guns, and you can flip open this panel right here for this side gun. So he's got his little abdomen guns. I feel like those don't automatically flip out, but they are there. He does have an ab crunch here on his chest. Oh, and the backpack actually slides up a little higher than this. It should just slide up in there. Did I already slide it up? Oh, I must have already slid it. Oh yeah, it's already up in there. Okay. And then these side panels on his, next to his head, fold down. There he is. He's big, he's huge, he's awesome. He's got some great posability. Like I said, we already showed the ankle tilt. He's got dual jointed knees up here at the top as well as underneath. He's got the big ratcheting hips, thigh swivels. He does have a waist swivel. Bicep swivel, forearm swivel, as well as the hinged elbow. Ratchets at the shoulder, both forward and back. The shoulder pads are articulated to give you a lot of poses. And his head's on a ball joint, and it even kind of rotates forward and comes down so you can get some decent poses and such out of him. He's fully capable of holding his giant gun and supporting the weight, which is nice. You get this all. There we go. Come on, foot. Oh, the foot rotated up, that's why. There we go. So let's see if we can get a little bit more of him in frame. Okay, not much, but a little bit. Can't go back much further, my camera's going to fall off the table. The gun pegs into his hand. Like I said, this is where you want the thumb flat. The gun pegs into his hand like this. You can wrap the fingers around it, and then you can fold the thumb up, rotate the thumb up behind it to look like he's holding the gun. But like even with his arm in a straightforward pose, that's a big gun. It's sticking way out in front of him, but you can see he can clearly solidly hold it, which is nice. It's like both the shoulder, elbow, hands, and feet joints all allow him to hold that giant gun, which is super cool. This piece, it's got a tab here, and you can pop these tabs out. This tab and this, but he's got a tab here to attach it to his arm. He's got a little handle if you want him to hold it in his hand like a weapon. Now there's a handle that rotates and flips out. This peg right here, I find it's easier to do this if you attach this to his arm first with the this part on the top. But it pegs into either one of the slots on his arms just like this. And then this pegs into that slot right there. We need to look at it from the top to line that up. Yeah. Okay, well, we just pop that off again. It's just a matter of doing this from behind the camera. There we go. Tabs on, so you can give him that as like kind of a forearm shield if you want. More like the old original toy. Again, we'll back up. I'll show you what that looks like. It's pretty awesome. The swords obviously can pop off, and you can hold the swords individually. You can also, if you take both of these things out, there's a couple tabs or slots up in here that can tab onto either shoulder. So if you would rather have him wear it up here, you can attach it up to his upper shoulder as well. So it's up to you on where you want to put that. So yeah, super posable, super big, a very nice representation of IDW's Overlord. There we go. He's smug, he's cool, he's confident. I'll give you a close-up here of his face. Let me focus on his face. There's his normal, I have both my eyes face. He does also come with his damaged eye face from the comics. He's still smiling, he's got a bigger smile, but that one eye there is damaged from when Impactor shot him with a harpoon. And if you want to swap that out, it's just a matter of popping his head off the ball joint up here. If I can do it. I don't think you have to unscrew. No, there is a screw, but I'm pretty sure. I thought you could just pop it off and pop it on. But either way, you can swap out the head. I'm pretty sure that just pops off. I don't see how. I guess unscrewing it would help a little. Maybe you should unscrew it. But there's a little screw back here you can swap out for either head in the video. On the toy. I don't know why I said in the video. It's getting late. And speaking of him missing his eye because Impactor shot it out, the Planet Steel Express version does come with this special attachment for Impactor, their version of, or for Spartan, their version of Impactor, which is just a harpoon on a bendable wire, and that can attach. Let's come down here to Impactor. Also get a little size comparison there too. If you swap out his arm piece, you can attach this in and give him his extended harpoon, which is kind of cool. So you can be like, ah, I shot you in the eye. But anyway, so that's a cool little addition to Spartan if you've ordered from Planet Steel Express. And again, size comparison, here he is with Mastermind's Impactor, big player in the comics. You can see he is much larger. Much larger. And also from Last Stand of the Wreckers, here he is with Voyager Springer. So you can see he's a pretty big mamma jamma. Not super heavy for all that size, but he is a big dude. And then just because I have them there, here he is with Make Toys Despotron. And again, in the comics, a lot of times they look like they were standing eye to eye, but Overlord's supposed to be a big dude, so I'm cool with that. I dig that scale of the two of them together. So yeah, he also comes with, as usual, his manual and bio card and comic. There's a cool little comic inside, which I will leave it for you to read. I don't like to spoil the comics in the reviews. I know some people will go through the comic page by page. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not something I prefer to do. But yeah, he's big, he's cool, he is every bit what I want from an IDW Overlord. I do have some original art by Nick Roche. Actually, I have some of the original comic pages, the actual art from Last Stand of the Wreckers, the first and last page of issue 2, which featured, the first page was Overlord punching through some dude while Cup punched him in the face, and the last picture was him on his throne, kind of leaning down over Verity. I've got both of those original art pages in my room, and I fully intend to bring those to TFCon and have Nick sign them, because I already have the inker signature on it. But yeah, there is IDW's CARNIFEX, their version of IDW's Overlord. Very cool figure, absolutely beautiful, solid. Once you figure out those shoulder pads, and like I said, the trick for me was, I was having so many problems with him, and it turns out all you have to do is, before you transform him, pull these cones up. And then it all latches together. So just be aware of that. But yeah, very happy with him. Very impressed. Glad he's finally out. CARNIFEX. Yes, one thing I forgot real quick. I'm sure somebody has already commented on it because they're not watching till the very end. But he doesn't have his Breastmaster, Power Master partners. He's just got some missile launchers in there, if you open up those panels. But these panels are absolutely removable. He's got some empty space in there for a Power Master. They've said that there will not be a full redeco released version like they've done with Hexatron in the past to make him more Master Forces, but they have said that there is, if enough people want it, on MMC Hub on Facebook, they might consider doing just a little add-on set to give him the Power Masters that he had originally. Like I said, the cockpit, there are places to store them in the vehicle modes if they do decide to do that. But yeah, I just realized that I showed off these weapons and I did not actually get around to showing off the chest partners, which I know several people were probably curious about. But like I said, he doesn't have them yet because this is intended to be IDW's version of Overlord, who has no Power Master partners. He's just a big, giant engine of death. And he's an awesome figure.